All right. All right, today I'm actually going to go over all the Korean tapes I've picked up this month. As you saw in the thumbnail, I actually have not one but two boxes, which I haven't opened yet. And I also have one other tape I have to show, which the two boxes are both from a fellow YouTuber known as K-Tapes, and then this extra VHS I'm going to show I picked up from eBay. So we're going to go with the standalone tape first. That is Clint Eastwood movie here. We have The Enforcer. And this tape is from 1989. This is right there. 89, April 20. And this tape was put out by SKC, complete with the with an SKC themed case as well. Notice this case is actually harder to open than the other ones. Let me put this on camera here. There we are. Here's the tape itself. There's the tape guard right there. And we have an end label. Side. Okay, now on to the two boxes. I'm going to start with this smaller one first. So I'm going to go and slice it open here. Get on the other side. Let's see. So I'll need to slice through the custom slip on top. Thick plastic on this one. All right. There we go. Got it open. And here we are. Unfortunately, the boxes got a bit banged up in shipping, but as per usual for K-Tapes, he packs up his orders up very well. Okay. So let's start with the first bundle here. Get this open up. All right, there we are. Okay. Start. Adjust this a little bit. All right. So with the first tape here, we have National Treasure Book of Secrets with Nicolas Cage. Here is the back. And this is from, 2008, July. So, getting fairly late with this one. As with other tapes that I've received in the past, this one had some bubble wrap inside. Here is the tape itself. And the end label. All right, that's that one. Now for the other tape that was in that bundle, we have V for Vendetta. So we adjust the tripod a little. Here we are. This is from July 14th, 2006. Take these out. Grab the. There we are. Here's the tape. And the end label for it. So This probably did get a VHS in a handful of countries, but I have the South Korean release. I think National Treasure 2 was only released in South Korea on VHS. Okay, grab this. Okay, yeah, let's take a look at this one. Come on. Come on, it's tape. Alright. Let's look another way. Yeah, I can slide it out. There we go. Alright, here's another 2006 release. And this time, unlike most of the other Korean tapes I've picked up in the past, this one is actually an animated film rather than live action. Great. Well, now you kind of see what it is, but this tripod's not working particularly well. It's probably because I'm trying to charge my phone at the same time, so there's probably... Alright, there we go. We have Monster House, which I believe Tyler Trester 2 is back, has this VHS as well. Mine's a little different. It does say down here that it is Korean language, so this would be for the dubbed release, but you're about to see when I show you the tape, it's not entirely the case. Let's see, okay. Take out the little bubble wrap pieces. And you'll see here, here's the label. You see here, it actually says that it is Korean subtitled. This is the subtitled VHS of Monster House, which I've been on the lookout for a while, but never saw it for sale. Eventually, Matt did find a copy, although the sleeve for it was not in very good condition, so he swapped it for the dubbed sleeve, which the store he bought this from happened to have. And it was a little messed up there, but tape roll, and it looks like it might have been... Oh yeah, I know what he did. Matt actually sliced the end label, because there was a tiny bit of mold on top that he went and cleaned off, but... Anyway, any of it, the mold wasn't anything serious. It hadn't gotten to the reading area yet, so the tape will play perfectly fine. Okay, we have another batch of tapes here. You know what? Look at these. One of them is actually in this next little bundle is actually really rare. So I wasn't sure if I wanted to save it for the end or go ahead and show it. Okay. Go ahead and just take off all the tapes here. That way I can get the box out of the way. Got the bubble pieces here. Yeah, there we go. Put that in there. These. Okay. Let's get the ball rolling again. We now have Night at the Museum, which I knew had a VHS. There might be one in Japan. I'm not certain if that's true or not. But South Korea for certain did get one. There is the spine. Unfortunately, there's a little bit of sun fade on it, but it's mostly just bad with the rating. It almost looks like it's a 12 rated film, but it's obviously not. But yeah, here we go. This is, yeah, April 20, 2007. All right. We'll get the case open here. So we'll take out the bubble wrap inside. And here's the tape. Overall, other than the spine being a little faded, it's very, it's very clean. There was no mold on it. So now here's a pretty cool one. Actually, the next two here are actually really neat. We have Rambo 4. Or actually, in most countries, it was just called Rambo. But look down here. I thought this was a pretty amusing. In South Korea, for some reason, it was called Rambo Last Blood. Or I guess Rambo 4 Last Blood. That's pretty amusing because we actually did get a Rambo Last Blood a few years ago. So I'm not sure what they would have called it in South Korea. Obviously, they couldn't call it Last Blood because there was already a Last Blood. So there's the back. I should probably adjust this. There we go. It was wobbling a little bit, so yeah, it looked like it was about to fall. All right, here we go. This is May 2008. All right. Take out the bubble wrap pieces. There is the tape and the end label. Once again, very good condition, very clean. So something I try to look for a lot of these, but inevitably a lot of them are very difficult to get in like mint condition. Only a little bit here is just some folding on the some creasing on the plastic. All right, you know what? I'm actually gonna say this one to the end, although it's not in any particular order. I want to say that one is like a big surprise at the end. We have a Yes Man right here. So we're getting in some pretty rare ones now. We're up to 2009 with this release. And this one is May 2009. So we're getting pretty late with this one. It's only had like a couple years to go from this point for new releases. There's the label. And we have an end label. And okay, this tripod is kind of crappy, at least when I'm trying to do it at this angle. It's one of those kind of adjustable, yeah, there we go. But yeah, there's the tape again. And the end label. Okay. On that one tape, which I'm going to save to the end, we're on to the second box now, so I'm going to slice it open here. Oh, well, this box showed up in much better shape than the other one. Okay. Which one to grab first? Yeah, let's do this one. All right. So I have the rest of these are kind of 4 tape bundles inside. So yeah, we had to do this one in 2 boxes rather than one, because there were quite a few. There's 22 movies with 23 tapes, because one of them is a 2-tape set. Okay. Okay, here we go. So the first tape here, the man's pretty controversial right now, but it doesn't particularly matter too much here with this particular movie, but man, I'm starting to really hate this tripod. Okay, here we go. We have The Pursuit of Happiness with Will Smith. I won't really go into too much of what I think about the whole Oscar incident here, but regardless, this is still a good movie. And yeah, all these tapes, I haven't said so yet, but all the tapes here are subtitled in Korean. I didn't pick up any dubs. Closest to a dub here was with Monster House, and that was only the sleeve. The video itself is actually subtitled, because I just had the artwork swapped out. The tape guard. Very clean. Very good condition. The only thing is that, look at it here. maybe a little bit of sun fade on the spine. It looks like it down here, but it almost looks like it was an error, like that meant that they made it blue rather than green, but it might be a little sun fade. But regardless, the tape itself is in very good condition, so I'm not gonna grade too much. And also the price was pretty good of what I got it for. Okay, unfortunately it seems somehow the plastic on this one split. So I might see if Matt might be willing to, in case we're on K-tapes, his name is Matt. I might see if he might send a new case for this one, but I have a copy of Click here. You'll see in just a moment what I'm talking about. Here's the spine. In the back, you'll see here, the plastic for some reason split on this one, so I'll need to swap the case on this. It might have been an oversight or shipping, perhaps, but I'll see about getting the case replaced in some way. Maybe I'll buy like a really cheap Korean tape on eBay and swap the case on this one. But to get the bubble wrap. Other than that, the artwork's in pretty good shape, and the tape itself is fine inside the label. Once again, there is the top, and there's the front label. So yeah, I might have to be careful when taking this one off the shelf, at least for the time being. All right, next tape here. This is a pretty cool one. We have Valkyrie, starring Tom Cruise. I have yet to actually get a copy of that tape. It's starting to get a little bit harder to find in Korea. Not saying it was already easy to find in Korea. It was already pretty difficult. But I've yet to find one. So I'll see about maybe getting one, but it's not necessarily on a priority list for me. I never really cared too much about Avatar. Yeah, 2009, May 20. So kind of nice to get this one, because this was actually one of the last MGM films released when they were still a film distributor and production company. Of course, now they're in film distribution again, but this was the last film they were when until their bankruptcy. Label. And the end label right there. There's the lid. But yeah. Okay, now for this tape. Now this one is on eBay if any of you guys are interested, although it's not in as good a condition as this copy here. But I do have Shooter with Mark Wahlberg. There's the spine. And the back. So you kind of see there's quite a mix of movies here. I have a lot of action films. I have some comedies. One animated film, as you saw. Just kind of a little bit of a mix. Here is the label right here. Unfortunately, yeesh. Looks like it cracked a little there. I'm sure it'll play fine. And there's the end label. Okay. Now for another bundle here. Let's do this one. Actually, I couldn't pull the tape straight out of this one. Okay. I think I'll start with this tape first. This one's a little related because it's the same distributor, but we have a copy of a film that a lot of people probably don't know it actually got a VHS in South Korea. And it was one I was looking for a while. But we have Iron Man right here. Here's the spine. Fortunately, it's a little faded. A lot of the gold is gone, but overall, it looks all right, other than the title. In any event, this tape was not terribly expensive to pick up, so I went and got it. Hey, if I was particularly picky, I could probably try to see about sourcing another sleeve for this one. There's the label. And the end label right here. right. Now, this is actually the only 2-tape set I have this time, and it is Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End. This is part 1, this is part 2. Here, it's not necessarily part 1, it's actually upper. This was released November 2007. Get this open here. But here is part 1. Yeah, some of these do have logos in the cases, but I don't just show them very often. And we have part 2. Or in this case, it's actually lower. There's the label. So, although KD Media by this time was distributing Disney's tapes, they still had a whole bunch of the Disney lids, or Buena Vista lids. Okay, I'm saving this one for the very end. Okay. All right, I think I'll do this one. This one I do need to slice open here. Okay. All right, here they come. Here we go. Okay. Box a little here. Okay, let's get on to these tapes here. Okay, this is actually another Disney release again, but we have Wild Hogs, a film that I didn't know actually got a Korean VHS. This doesn't really seem like the kind of film that would get a release in South Korea, because most of these people, I don't think people in Korea are that familiar with. I don't know many people are familiar with Martin Lawrence, maybe from Bad Boys, perhaps. John Travolta, I think, is probably the only actor that I think most people in Korea might be familiar with. Tim Allen, maybe Toy Story? And then William H. Macy, probably not. So this doesn't really sound like the kind of film that would get a release in Korea or really gain much traction in the region. But alas, we have it right here. And this was released September 2007. Okay, I'll take the bubble pieces out. Yeah, this setup's working a lot better than I had before. I initially had it pointing down, but that wasn't working particularly well for this tripod here. Here's the label, and then there's the tape guard. Okay, it's that one. Now, we have another tape here. This is from 2008. We have The Mummy, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor. Here. I'm going to shift these over. I've got a little more space for these. And let's see right here. Yep, November 2008. So this movie had a fairly short theatrical run in Korea. I think it was released in the country in August 2008, I believe. It was around the same time it was released in the domestic U.S. market. Okay. Here is the tape. And there's the end. There's the end label here. Are all very good condition. Not really any distinguishable sun fade on it, so it looks good. Okay. I think I'll just go ahead and get this last one open. That way I can just breeze through all these. Okay. Let's see, can I pull these out? Yes, I can. All right. Okay. I'm gonna reorganize these a little before we continue. Okay, now I have the rest of these organized here. This time I'm actually going from earliest to most recent. So, the next tape I'm going to show here, this is probably one people are like thinking, Sam, really, did you get this one? Why? But I picked it because it's very interesting. I'm also a fan of the games that this movie is based on. And I think in terms of the two movie adaptations, this is probably the more faithful of the two. But we have a copy of Hitman. Here. Here's the spine. There's the back of it. And this one was released 2008, April 4th. Open up the case here. Bubble wrap here. Here is the tape. There's our end label. And there is the flap. Okay. Now this one is also kind of another movie. It's a bit questionable, but I picked it up because I'm a fan of the individual series, although the newer films are kind of not that good, but I do have it here. We have Aliens vs. Predator Requiem, or Alien vs. Predator 2. There's the side. There's the back. Oh, very good condition. Yeah, June 2nd, 2008 for this particular VHS. Now, in terms of the viewing experience of this movie on VHS might be kind of a mixed bag because the film itself is very dark, not in terms of subject matter, but rather lighting. But there is the label. There is the end label right there, and there's the top. Yeah, the next one's another Fox release, but then we take a bit of a break. But kind of briefly. All right, next one. This is another movie that people are thinking, why'd you pick this up? This movie is garbage. Well, I actually have the first three movies on VHS, and I felt like it was only suitable if I completed the set, even if this movie is probably the worst in its respective series. And that is X-Men Origins Wolverine. Yeah, this movie is terrible, but I think most people probably agree and are aware that this movie is garbage. October 9th, 2009 was when this one came out. So we're getting pretty near the end. We only had like about a year and a half to go after this tape, so we're definitely getting there. There is the label. There's the top, and there is the end label. All right, there you go. And then now we have another. This and the next one are also both late 2009 releases, but we have G.I. Joe: The Rise of Cobra. This has a little bit of sun fade on it, but it's not too bad. I think that probably the worst of sun fade is probably Iron Man, but the worst fades mostly with just the title. And this one is, there it is. November 2009. So, yeah, we're getting pretty late with this one. Here is the label. And there is our end label, and there's the top. Okay. Then we have yet another late 2009 release. It was released the same month as G.I. Joe for VHS. That is Night in the Museum, Battle at the Smithsonian. Or simply, Night in the Museum 2. Yeah, this is actually a relatively common trend with a lot of sequels. They tend to simplify the titles in foreign countries, so that way it would be easier to translate. If it was called Night in the Museum, Battle of the Smithsonian, that would have been a lot harder to translate into Korean than just adding a 2 next to the original movie's title. And I think also most Koreans might not be familiar with what the Smithsonian Museum is. So I think that's also another reason. But the general reason is just simplicity for translation. And this one was released November 20, 2009. So Fox is a little more specific with their release dates than a lot of other distributors. For example, Paramount, or I guess CJ, to a lesser extent, Universal, Sony. They usually just have month and year. There is the label. There's our tape guard. And there is the end label. And once again, like Night in the Museum, there is some sun fading on this one. It's probably the worst just with the rating. But the rest of it, most of the color is still there. Okay, now we get into the really rare ones here. We're getting into 2010 with these. Although I guess for 2008, 2009 releases, probably the rarest one might be Rambo 4, maybe. But I'm not certain. But let's get into it. So our first 2010 release is a film set in 2012. And I'm referring to the Roland Emmerich movie. And this was released February 2010. Okay, let me take the bubble wrap out of here. There is the label. No fancy Sony Pictures tape guard this time, but it's still an official release. There's the end label. So yeah, another 2010 VHS to add to the collection. Okay. Now we're skipping several months right to the end of the year. Now this tape actually came out on VHS slightly later, but I think it's a little bit less rare than the last one. So without further ado, let's get into it. And this is Night and Day, which is a tape that I believe Tyler TriStar 2's Back picked up a few months earlier, but now I have a copy of this one. And what makes this tape significant is that it was released in December 2010. You'll see right here. December 8th, 2010. So that's about the last month for any releases from the major studios. Not saying there weren't American films at all released after December 2010, but from the big six studios, December 2010 was it. So and also, since we're getting to the end, we're starting to no longer get the really fancy tape shells this time. In fact, this one almost looks like a KD Media release, but it's a Seihan cassette. So that may be why, except they just removed the KD flap and replaced it with a Seihan one. But other than that, the coloring is very similar. Let me pull out. Can I get to National Treasure 2 from over here? It's all the way over here. Let's see if I can grab it real quick. Because the other Disney releases I have, they were distributed by KD, but they still had Disney-themed cassettes. So, Yeah, here we go. You see here, the coloring is they're identical, or they're nearly identical. So they probably just used a different flap for this one because it was a Fox release. So okay, shift these over a little bit. Okay, back to the tape. There's the end label, and of course there's nothing special on the top. And now for the last one. This is probably the rarest tape of the haul. It might be probably the rarest or one of the rarest Korean tapes I own, and that is The Expendables. There is the spine right here. Yeah, I didn't know this film got a VHS release in South Korea, but it did. And this was released November 29th, 2010. So pretty much right at the end. And what makes this tape significant is that this film is probably one of the most recent American movies released on Korean VHS, as the film was released in the United States and South Korea in August of 2010. Night and Day, for example, I think was released in late June. There's the end label. And yeah, nothing particularly special about the tape itself because it is from a smaller distributor. I haven't even heard of Buzz Pictures before I got this tape. All right. That is the haul. A whopping 23 tapes, though it's across 22 films. And then plus the bonus features of the Enforcer. So that is the haul. I hope you guys enjoyed the live stream. I'm going to get to work this afternoon and get as many openings captured as I can. I have my graduation commencement tomorrow, so I'm going to be pretty much busy tomorrow. So I might not be able to might not be able to start uploading the openings until maybe Sunday or maybe Monday. But I wanted to at least show the tapes to you all before all that. So I hope you guys enjoyed the stream, and I look forward to seeing y'all again soon. Take care.